Hi, my name is Peter, and I'm 68 years old. I always believed that family meant love, trust, and loyalty. But one morning, that belief shattered. My daughter-in-law dragged me to the bank, shoved a pen into my hand, and demanded that I sign away everything I owned. My son sat beside her, silent, his head lowered. As I stared at those papers, my hands shook. They weren't just asking me to sign. They were asking me to erase everything I had worked for my entire life. Before I tell you how I turned this moment of betrayal into the most satisfying revenge of my life, I want to know, if your own family tried to trick you into signing away your house and savings, what would you do? Let me know in the comments, and also tell me which city and country you're watching from, so I can thank you personally. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true stories like this. I wasn't born rich. My parents were factory workers, and every penny counted in our house. I grew up learning the value of hard work. When I turned 20, I got my first job as a junior clerk in a small insurance company. The pay was low, but I saved whatever I could. Over 4 decades, I worked my way up to senior manager. I lived frugally, skipped vacations, and invested smartly. By the time I retired, I had a paid-off house, a decent retirement fund, and some savings to ensure I wouldn't be a burden to anyone. My wife, Margaret, was my anchor through it all. Together, we raised our son, Michael. She taught him kindness, respect, and gratitude, or at least I thought she did. When Michael married Clara, I was thrilled. She seemed polite and well-mannered, always calling me Dad. I gave them everything they could ask for. I paid for their wedding, helped them with a down payment for their first car, and even let them move into my house after Margaret passed away. At first, Clara treated me with respect. She would cook dinner sometimes and involve me in family activities. I thought, this is what Margaret would have wanted, a united family. But slowly, Clara's true nature began to show. She loved expensive things, handbags, jewelry, designer clothes, and whenever she wanted something new, she would drop hints about how I was comfortable enough to help. I obliged at first, buying gifts for birthdays and holidays. But the requests kept growing. New furniture, luxury vacations, even private school fees for their children, even though Michael had a good job. Finally, when Clara started using my credit card without asking, I drew the line. I cancelled the extra card I had given her. She was furious. A week later, Clara came to me with a big smile. Dad, we need to go to the bank. Just a little paperwork. It's nothing serious. Something in her tone felt off, but I agreed. At the bank, she handed me a thick stack of documents. Just sign here, she said sweetly, sliding the papers toward me. I put on my reading glasses and started flipping through the pages. My heart sank. These weren't formalities. They were transfer papers, transferring my house, my savings, and even my retirement accounts into Michael's name. I looked up slowly. Clara, what is this? It's just estate planning, she said, her smile tightening. You're getting older, Dad. It's time to make sure everything is secure for the future. I turned to Michael. Did you know about this? He shifted uncomfortably. It's just easier this way, Dad. No legal mess later. Legal mess? I asked, my voice rising. You're asking me to sign away everything I own while I'm still alive. Clara's sweet tone vanished. We have children to raise. You don't need all that money sitting there. Think of the family. I put the pen down. No, her eyes narrowed. Think carefully. If you refuse, we'll have to make other arrangements. You can't stay in that house forever. It should be ours. Those words felt like a slap. I stood up and walked out of the bank, leaving the papers unsigned. That night I couldn't sleep. My hands still trembled as I replayed Clara's words over and over. You can't stay in that house forever. The next day, I visited Mr. Harris, my longtime lawyer and friend. You did the right thing not signing, he said after hearing everything. Those papers would have made you legally homeless. Clara could have sold your house and left you with nothing. He went through my documents and confirmed that the house was still in my name. Peter, you're in full control, he reassured me. But you need to protect yourself from future coercion. Meanwhile, things at home got worse. Clara started ignoring me completely. She stopped letting me see my grandkids, telling them, Grandpa's busy right now. One night, I overheard Clara whispering to Michael in the kitchen, "If he won't sign willingly, we'll wait until he's too sick to fight us. Then he won't have a choice." That broke me. I sat alone in my room, staring at Margaret's photo, tears running down my face. "Margaret," I whispered, "what do I do? Do I let them take everything we built?" The next morning, I knew the answer. I had to fight back, not just to save my house, but to reclaim my dignity. I met with Mr. Harris again and told him I wanted to lock everything down. We created a living trust, securing my assets so no one could touch them without my consent. But I added one condition. Michael would inherit everything only if he treated me with respect, maintained regular contact, and never attempted to pressure me again. "If they fail these conditions," Mr. Harris said with a grin, "the inheritance goes to charity." For the first time in months, I felt empowered, but I wasn't done. I decided to let Clara and Michael know about my decision in person, in a way they'd never forget. I invited them over for dinner. Clara arrived looking smug. "So," she said, crossing her arms, "have you decided to sign?" I smiled calmly. "Yes, I signed something." Her face lit up, until I handed her a copy of the trust documents. She scanned the papers, her expression darkening with each line. "What is this?" she hissed. "It's my house, my money, my life," I said. "And I just ensured that you can't take a single penny unless you treat me with respect." Clara slammed the papers down. "You can't do this." "Yes, I can," I replied, my voice firm. "You tried to force my hand at the bank. This is my answer." Michael stayed quiet, shame written all over his face. Clara stormed out, but Michael lingered. "Dad," he said quietly, "I'm sorry. I should have stood up to her. I let her push me into this. You still have a chance to make things right," I told him. "This isn't about money. It's about respect, about remembering who built this house and why." Michael nodded slowly. In the weeks that followed, Michael started visiting more often, this time alone. He helped me repair the fence, mow the lawn, and even cook dinner a few times. Slowly, we began rebuilding our relationship. Clara stayed away at first, but eventually returned, quieter and more respectful than before. One afternoon, she surprised me by apologizing. "I was wrong," she admitted. "I let greed take over." "I'm sorry." I looked at her for a long moment. "Respect isn't given, Clara, it's earned. But this is a good start. If you were in my shoes, would you forgive your daughter-in-law or keep the conditions in place forever? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more powerful emotional stories about justice and redemption.